Welcome to CXO, a magical podcast to help you serve better and concoct experiences that are superlative in nature. I'm your host, Supriya Sharma, bringing to you in each episode didactic nuggets so you can get inspired to sprinkle stardust in your company, your home, and the community on the whole.
Let's welcome on our show today, Irit Eizips, the Chief Customer Officer and CEO at CSM Practice, a world-renowned expert in customer retention and upsell strategies. Irit was also nominated as the top customer success strategist and influencer, not just once, but it has been going on year after year since 2013 for her contributions in shaping CS methodologies. In fact, early in 2022, Irit was named as one of the top 50 customer success influencers and top 25 most innovative leaders in CX. Amazing. In fact, she's also been recognized as one of the top 100 global inspirational leaders and top 150 global customer experience thought leaders. Wow, Irit, welcome to our show. Where does all this come from?
I guess, back in 2014, when I left a company called Gainsight that essentially almost started the movement for customer success, I was totally into that vision that we need to educate the business community. And I would say that in parallel, as I was developing the business, I was also thinking that one of my fiduciary responsibility towards the business community is to continuously educate them on best-in-class practices around CX and CS that I have learned as I was working with my customers, or as I was coming up with them, as I was coaching my customers and understanding their challenges. And I think that that proactive approach towards contributing to the thought leadership in the community benefited me with, these types of generous recognitions.
Brilliant. And how did you channelize all your energy towards customer success? In fact, why did you choose customer success to specialize as a field?
I think it chose me, honestly. I kind of stumbled on it, I suppose. I mean, my background, obviously, I've been doing software implementations. I've been working with executives to understand what their business needs are, and then developing pieces of software and queries and business intelligence, data warehouses to address those business questions. I had a sense of, what people are really interested in when they are thinking about efficacy and productivity and cost, like the business element of things. But I also had privy to, what does it look like when you have an excellent engagement with customers? And I just stumbled on customer success back in 2013. I had a conversation with the founder of back then, Jay Barra, that turned into Gainsight. And he said, "Hey, come work for me." And I said, "What does the company do?" And he said, and he was trying to explain back then what a customer success solution was. And he said, let me explain what NPS score is. That's the level of understanding of customer success strategies we both had at that time. It was so nascent. I mean, nobody understood it. Nobody had a real strategy or a framework per se. I mean, we had some teams, but they were mainly working on retention and deflecting churn. There wasn't like a strategy or a true north of what is best in class in customer success means. And I joined Jay Barra. We changed the name to Gainsight, and we quickly realized that, wow, nobody knows what the heck they're doing. Everybody's just guessing stuff. And so I was just very, very lucky that year to have interviewed well over 100. I think it was in the tune of 200 different customer executives that did something related to customer success, whether it was retention, renewal, adoption, called their team customer success, whatever it was, to just understand what are they doing to help retain customers. And when I left Gainsight a year and a half later and went back to consulting, it just lends itself to me keep on doing this. I was just fascinated by it, and I thought, what an interesting times to be in the business community, to be able to break through into a completely new strategy for businesses.
Sounds very interesting on how you landed into customer success, or how customer success landed into your life. Well, we'll give you a flavor of that nascency again today, because we are going to ask you to help us differentiate between customer success, then customer advocacy, and customer experience. All these jargons, they exist in the world of our customer service or customer experience, as we call it. But then many of us, even though when we work in this field, many of us, sometimes we find ourselves juggling one or the other at the same time. So are they any different from one another, or they are all a part of the same menu?
Wow, I think I can talk about it for 10 minutes. I'll try to be concise. At the high level, to achieve customer success, which is the ultimate goal, retaining customers, especially in the B2B world, customer experience plays a part in getting customers to have loyalty with you and to stay with you. And so the way we think about it is customer success really equals, the conjunction between delivering an exceptional customer experience and delivering on value and outcomes to customers. And what we've seen is that if customers have a great experience, but they're not really getting to their business outcomes, they're going to tell you about it. They're going to collaborate with you so that you can help them get the most out of your solution. If it's reversed, though, they are getting outcomes, but they're not having a great experience with you, your product will likely be commoditized. And so if you're not bringing up, a great experience, they will look to get it somewhere else where the experience might be better. So they won't even tell you that they're about to churn. They'll just churn one day because they don't have that level of relationship. In terms of methodologies, we see very big difference in the business world. Besides that formula, when you have customer experience teams versus customer success teams, I think like 3-4 years ago, nobody were like, isn't it the same? I think we kind of know it's not. Like, customer experience teams usually do something completely different than customer success teams. But if you'd like, I can elaborate on that as well.
Sure, it would be nice if you can elaborate using an illustration or an example for us to better understand how, in tacticality, do these customer experience team differ in their operations from a customer success team, especially with regard to the smaller organizations. We're not talking about the big four or the multinationals or the Fortune 100. We're talking about a smaller organization where there's not much of a differentiation between the various departments as such.
Traditionally, when you talk about customer experience departments, they would do the voice of the customer, potentially like advisory board. They collect feedback from customers. They might set up a call center, especially if it's a B2C or you have a very large cohort of customers that are very small businesses like mom and pop. And so it's still a very reactive model, but the intention is to give the right experience. There's a lot of emphasis on self-serve. With customer success, you will actually set up a customer success management team. So if you look at the customer success department, not as a methodology, but as a department, and they would usually work with B2B accounts. So it's more predominant in the B2B industry than the B2C industry. And then, the goal of the customer success managers, for the most part, is to drive adoption and create awareness of business outcomes and deliver and increase business outcomes and value to customers. So I think that the metrics in which we measure customer experience is going to be a little bit different than the one that we're going to measure customer success. Customer success is going to be measured predominantly by net retention rate, gross retention rate, and customer experience is going to be measured by CSAT, NPS, and things of that nature. So it is a different methodology. And I think the industries now have matured to sort of understand. Sometimes there's an overlap, and customer success will do some elements of customer experience and vice versa. But predominantly, we see customer experience more common in B2C and customer success more common in B2B. And when customer experience is in B2B in conjunction with customer success, they tend owning different things within the organization.
Makes sense. That was very helpful. We get a lot of clarity now on what the functions actually are for a customer experience team versus what it is for a customer success team. So now, Irit, if we talk about designing or incorporating a customer success strategy in our organization to start with, if that's something we haven't thought of before, although you'd agree, subconsciously, every organization is participating in customer success. There is no way an organization can support itself without involving customer success. But somehow, those organizations don't realize that they're doing it subconsciously. And now when they do, and they want to come up with a customer success strategy, what would be the highlights that you would recommend that need to be kept in mind when doing that?
Well, first and foremost, we need to understand the structure of the organization. So if it's a very small business, then customer success should own everything after post sales in terms of, there should be one department or a team that is in charge to, or is accountable for delivering outcomes to customers while improving the experience. So very, very small teams that would just basically own all of it. When you look at larger organizations, though, more complex ones, there's going to be already some teams that have their own parts of the post sale. Sometimes even, when you have very large customers, the account manager might own and function partially as a CSM. So the role might be, split into more specialized roles. And so you really need to define roles and responsibilities. Who owns the customer outcomes conversation? Who owns adoption? Who will own the renewal? Who will own upsell? In very large or complex organizations, it is not uncommon to find various specialized roles. And then if you have 200 SKUs, are you going to have one CSM or multiple CSMs for each account? Are you going to handle that if an account is spread over multiple geographies? So before just setting something up, when it's a complex organization, multiple products, multiple geographies, and so on, you need to kind of sit down and say, what is my vision for customer success? And if I am going to set up a team for customer success, what is exactly their responsibility? What is that gap that they're filling that the organization has not addressed yet? And does having this customer success strategy changes the organizational structure so that we can be more efficient?
Perfect. Got that. And if we want to start learning more about customer success, what are some books that you would like us to go through in that case?
There's a lot of really good books. I actually have a blog on my website, csmpractice.com, that's called The Top 10 Books on Customer Success.
Oh.
Yeah, so I actually highly recommend downloading it. And on my YouTube channel, I actually did like about 5 different business book reviews and that are about customer success. So if you're thinking about picking a book up, I definitely recommend looking at that list and then checking out the YouTube channel to see, which books might be interesting for you to pick up. The book I'm reading right now is the Reimagine Customer Success by Stassi Yajamanyan. He's Indian, by the way. Yeah. So it's all about designing the organizations around customer value, and he brings some interesting ideas and concepts. He actually wrote the book for the CEO, which really brings about the point that customer success is not just about setting up a department. He's addressing some of the complexities of, if you already have some teams in place, what should you be doing? I think that topic has not been addressed enough in various other books. They're more about books for customer success or how you do it in different industries. But this one is really interesting to just buy for your CEO to help them elevate, the thinking that customer success is actually a company-wide effort.
Very interesting. So those of you who are listening to this, you've got a gift idea for your CEO today, what to buy for your CEO. So you, along with your CEO and the entire team, can take the company to the next level. Because we all know as organizations, we exist because of customers. If we aren't able to satisfy those customers, bring those customers back to us, there's no point we can be surviving. So Irit, in your career spanning the customer service or a customer success professional, plus in fact as a customer also, are there any fascinating companies that you've come across that are doing customer success exemplarily, whether as a professional or as a customer? Why don't you share with us some of those stories today?
Well, I mostly work with companies who don't do it in an exemplary way. So
that's why you're there.
That's why I'm there. They did it great. But I will say there's a couple of companies that are really outstanding for me. One, that they're actually putting their entire playbook out to the world, which is fascinating to me. So one of them is Cisco, that have actually invested in a partner success to teach partners how to do customer success. And that holistically changed everything for VARs. VARs are value-added resellers for companies like Cisco. And so if they sign up for their program, they actually get coached on how to set up a customer success program, get access to tools, to more customer data. I found that completely fascinating. It's a highly successful, highly impactful program that Cisco did. And it completely changed the VAR industry. Now they're not called VAR, they're called GSSM, solution and services provider. I mean, the whole thing changed just because of what one company did in terms of investment in enablement and tools and just for their partners. The other one that really stands out is GitLab. GitLab has done a lot in the area of customer success, but if you go to their website, did you know that all of their playbooks are completely public? You can see what their vision is for customer success, their charters, specific playbooks. They're not shy about, like, transparency is a big value in their culture. And so I think those are a couple of companies that really stand out for me in terms of doing it just a little bit differently, potentially. And by doing so and by embracing transparency, have impacted well beyond their own employees and customers, but actually the community.
That itself is exceptional, because even I, as a customer experience professional, when I have worked with organizations or partnered organizations in terms of improving their excellence journeys, I always find this skepticism, especially in the senior leadership team, as to no, we don't want to disclose what we are doing in terms of customer experience or customer success. Yeah. But then when you mentioned of GitLab doing it transparently, open to the whole world, anyone can go and access their playbook and probably copy that once it has been customized to the particular organization, makes real sense in terms of how we want to come together in order to make experience or customer success a real thing in the world, and not just in the books and in the blogs and in the YouTube channels. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Irit, for being with us today. It was such a pleasure to learn from you, and we hope to see you again sometime soon.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast.
Thanks for listening to CXO with your host, Supriya. I hope you enjoyed a dive into the nitty-gritty of customer experience. If you are committed to applying these ideas in the real world, stay tuned with me. Don't forget to check out all the links and resources in the show notes. That's all for this episode, folks. See you next time.